Hey everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, I didn't bring you along. We got started. We're almost 4 hours into the trip. We're right down the street from where we're going. So had to stop and get some fish water. I'll see what I can do about getting you some footage of loading it. The gentleman's there, going to load it for us. My buddy's with me, so I'm not sure about that, but I'll do the best I can. And if I don't for some reason, we'll definitely explain more when we get back, but I'll try to bring you along a little bit more for the adventure. Stay tuned.
I doubt we can see it.
What a day this has been. Smooth trip, just long, a little over 4 hours one way. Probably could have shaved a little bit of that off going the highway, but we always take the back roads. Picked up a Brock 9.1 ton feed bin. Gentleman was upgrading, had several of these. I asked him about 2 weeks ago, I think, if he would hold me one. He said he would. Went down, picked it up. He's got a couple of more left. I may end up going back for another one. Can't ever hurt to have too much storage, way more than what I need, but I've got an idea for this and I'll explain that later on. Pretty tired, so the wife's going to get something to eat. Did stop on the way back and pick up a new bottom cone and slide gate. That cone's got just a little bit of a crack in the other side. It'd be fine for what I'm doing, but I'll go ahead and replace it. They're cheap enough. And the main reason I drove so far to get this is because it was sitting on the ground just like it is. He just took his forks, stuck it right under the ladder, picked it up, set it on the trailer, no problem at all. I've got several friends that have turned me on to some of these that are still standing. I could probably get really cheap. I just haven't figured out the best way to try to get them set on the ground yet, so we haven't gone that route. But if this works out the way I think it will and my plans, then we may be in the market for several more of these in the future. But right now we're going to call it a day. I'll bring you guys back tomorrow and tell you more about my plans and show you what my idea is, and we'll see what happens after that. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to try this camera mount on the way up the road here. We're headed to the farm from my house the day after the trip to retrieve the feed bin, and I wanted to hit on a few points real quick. Well, I say real quick, I always say that, but in case any of you are wondering why I went so far to pick this up, I mentioned it yesterday, but I can't remember how much I elaborated on it. But the two top reasons that I went that far and with this one versus some that I already know where they are and people have turned me on to is because it was already on the ground. He had a way to load it and it was astronomically cheap. So even with the trip and the gas and everything else, it worked out better in my mind financially to go this route. Again, this is a test run for lack of better words, so I do know where there's probably 8 more of these that, you know, fit my budget that I could take down and use. So I may end up going back and getting another one from this guy, again, for the same reason. Just there, plop it right on the trailer, simple trip home. We're just gonna have to see how well everything goes with the unload process of this one, the maneuverability, you know, all that other stuff. This is really only coming about because we got the loader for the 10, which is not on yet, by the way. I've got the belly pan on. But the other real reason that I wanted to go with grain storage in one of these feed bins is because in the very beginning I originally had plans to do all deer corn, and I've got several extreme deer hunters that I work with and friends and family members of those guys that basically will buy anything that I can put in a bag and load on their truck. So, you know, that's a no-brainer for me. I did not know about the corn sales as close to the farm as it was until this year. So, you know, that was a fine line. But I kind of want something that is simple for me due to my schedule and my time. I'm not going to say that trying to bag corn and sell it and everything else is the easiest thing for me, being a one-man band. But it might be a little bit easier than worrying about having to travel and take things and, you know, whatever. We're still going to have to do the soybeans and wheat and all that as far as external elevators. But that's the real reason for the feed bin. So probably get up here and I'll go over it a little bit closer with a fine-tooth comb, and we'll probably just wrap this video up on the road trip to pick it up, and then whenever the time comes that I do end up getting it off the trailer, might throw that in another video itself, and we'll see how it goes. I've got to get a foundation poured and all that, and well, I was going to show you where I was going to put it, my idea, so we'll do that and then we'll wrap the video up. So I don't want to get too long-winded here, so I'll bring you back when we get to the farm. Well, I think you guys saw most of it yesterday. Not much to see. I mean, I don't know what feed bins look like, but he had put some galvanized paint on it. He was explaining to me yesterday why in his operation a lot of times the tops get rusted out, they spill the feed, and it sits up there and just basically eats it through. But I don't see any holes in it anywhere. He didn't know of any. You know, if there's a pinhole or something here or there, that's fine. But you know, a lot of them I've looked at have been rusted out down here at the bottom. It was an active feed bin up until just a month or two ago, so hasn't been sitting long without being used. So, all right, let me take you around back and show you what our plans are, and we'll call this one good. Well, there's the bracket on the 1086. I thought I'd throw this one on the video as well. I wish I had the loader ready to go, but it's not quite there yet. Don't mind the missing bolts or the loose nuts and bolts. I had to get 4 new bolts on each side. I had new ones for these up here are threaded, and that big one back there is threaded. Had all that new on both sides, but had to get the other. So, but worked out great. It's not going to be in the way of anything. You can unbolt the pan down there, or the plate to change the oil in the tractor, so that's not a problem. And same thing on this side. Don't mind the bolts sticking out. We've got new ones down there in the shop, but we'll see if I can get a hold of my cousin and see if he'll come by here and go ahead and unload that bin for me. And hopefully if I get another one or something like that, we'll be able to unload it ourselves. We're back here behind the barn, and this is what I had sketched out years ago when I first started to reclaim about the deer corn operation. I wanted to put bins back here, which seemed so far-fetched at that point in time, but with Gordon getting the lean-to down for me, my cousin coming up here and doing the grading work and taking care of that, leveling this off, it's really become a reality and a possibility. Talked about building a big lean-to here. I don't want to put any more stress on the old barn, the home place, so it would have to be freestanding, and a lot of, I'm not going to say wasted space, but it's kind of weird how I have to come in here with Jack's fence and stuff. So I think now that we've got the feed bin and there's a possibility of getting this deer corn operation back going like I originally wanted to, that this area is what we're going to use. We'll pour a foundation for the bin I have, possibly for a second bin if I get one. Build some kind of little shelter over an area like a room to deal with. We'll get some kind of short auger system or something to get the corn from the feed bin over to where I'm going to bag it, whether it be by hand in scoops out of a trash can or whatever. You know, I'm not worried about it because I don't have a huge bunch of corn to deal with right now. Can always expand later. So we'll just see how it works out, guys. Probably a long road before I get there. It may happen next year, it may not. but we're making strides in the right direction. So I did talk to my cousin. He's going to come and scoop that bin off the trailer for me, because we might have to go get a grain auger soon. Stay tuned. Yeah, on the ground, safe and sound for now. Got it sitting on some boards. Go get me a trash bag and put over that cone there. The door's not completely shut on it, but went pretty good. Almost ran out of reach with the skid steer. That was kind of wild, but anyway, thank goodness for the ladder. Well, I think we're gonna say the feed bin situation, ordeal, escapade is behind us. The retrieval went good, the loading went good, unloading went good. Told you about, you know, my thoughts and my ideas on where we're putting it and the reason behind it. I'm really tickled that, you know, what I set out to do here with reclaiming the farm and, you know, deer corner stuff, that is a possibility now with stars aligning. I've got to decide if I'm gonna go get the second one or not. I think I probably will. Never hurts to have too much storage, so because there are some possibilities of acreage around locally that I'm got my eyeballs on and I'm in the process of trying to get a hold of. So, you know, we may end up with a lot more farmland than what I've got here to work with as the future unfolds. So, but a lot of 2024 and deer corner is going to be hinged off of the auger. What I can find, what I can afford, what I can repair. What I'm going to look at, I know needs a little bit of work, but I think the gentleman that's got it will be fair on the price. So we'll just have to see how that goes. If I get it, you know, I'll bring you guys along for it. But that's going to be the telltale sign. You know, we still got a lot to do. I mean, Glenda needs a lot of work, header cart, you name it. But you got to get the deals when they come along and put the emphasis where it works best at each given situation. So knew that 8-hour trip was going to be a doozy, so I want to go ahead and get that behind me. But thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate you following on the journey with me. If you got any questions, don't hesitate dropping it down in the comments. We'll see what unfolds over the next couple days. Until then, thank you.